Hey, what's going on, people? Rebel Reyes here. You're tuned in to the Midnight Highway. Tonight's show is very special. I have a guest live in the studio right now, right at this very second. He's here. He is breathing. He is alive. I promised him last week, and I have delivered this week. Grim Deeds of the band Cloven and also of his project Grim Deeds. Deeds, how are you doing?
I'm here, and I'm feeling great. Thanks a lot for having me on the show.
Oh, dude. We are so stoked to have you here. People are super hot on Cloven latest. The album is called Enter the Night.
That's right.
And a lot of great tracks on here. It's totally fun all the way through. I can say that much. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm tired. I drove here straight after doing all my chores and dishes and putting my son to sleep, and I had a long day at work. But, today's my birthday, and I'm 37 today. And I'm here with you talking on your metal show, man, which is awesome because I've known you for a while. And I'm happy. I feel really great right now.
Yeah, happy birthday to you, Deeds.
Thank you.
We should tell the people, like, we met working at a large office supply retailer.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a trashy job, and
that's for sure.
We definitely bonded over that.
Oh yeah.
And then just by the insane coincidence, you are a school teacher, a middle school teacher for a living, and you actually teach at the middle school that I went to.
Yeah.
In my younger days, like first moving here from the Philippines, straight out of the Philippines, that's where I went to middle school.
Totally crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Glenn.
Oh, we got to say hi to Glenn.
Shout out to Glenn, the metal custodian.
Yeah, he's holding it down. He is always talking to me about metal and going to shows, and he's been the custodian at the school since 1993.
1993. Wow.
Yeah, it's a long time. And he's still rocking. I went to a show with him last year. He went with me to see Manila Road and Night Demon in San Francisco. Yeah.
That's the right show for you guys.
It was cool.
Oh, dude, that's so rad. Okay, let's start off with the regular questions on this album in particular. I know your writing and recording process. You try and like jam these tunes out any chance you can.
Sure.
Right, even in your car during the recess at school, like Yeah, man. What are the primary influences? Like, what were you listening to when you were putting this together?
So, since this is the second Cloven album, I wanted it, to be something that could at least compare to the first one and maybe just be catchier and a little more fun. The first one is like a great introduction to like the kind of metal sound that I want to go for, which is very melodic, very catchy, very 80s influenced. And there's a significant punk influence as well, because I love punk rock just as much as I love metal. Yeah,
definitely. We're together when it comes to that. Yeah, you can definitely hear that on the album, especially with the riffs, the energy that's there, and then that sort of it's like a careless kind of fun, like throw all your worries away, kind of metal, and that's definitely something that in the pop punk spirit that comes through on the album. Were there any bands in particular that you were like really zoning on?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, and it probably doesn't come across that well, but the bands that I was listening to that got me really inspired prior to writing these songs were Metal Lucifer, who my friend Nathan Hernandez, who's also on our little our message board. He introduced me to Metal Lucifer. They're from Japan, and they play very straightforward, very kind of primitive style speed metal and classic heavy metal. I've heard Metal Lucifer, and it's just all like pure metal spirit, and it's very sincere, and it's the perfect kind of metal because if you're willing to take it seriously, which can be a little hard to do because it's pretty over the top, it's just so awesome. And I love it.
Not necessarily taking it seriously, but like the emotional investment
for sure
that you need to get into whatever genre, right?
Exactly.
And that's something that I think is on your album is sincerity. Like no matter what genre it is, that's the thing that I think people look for, especially in metal, since it's not some huge commercial.
Right.
Like, not publicly, it does make a lot of money, and it's huge, right? But if you are phony, people can smell it right away.
Yeah,
I think. And a lot of people can tell.
Right.
And it's just kind of crazy.
Well, and then metal, there's all different kinds of tiers, and I'm at the very bottom of like the underground heap, just trying to do it for fun and like get people to like it. I'm not competitive in any way. I don't even play shows because the other guy in the band lives in Sweden, and we do this through like email and stuff. So it's not. My objective is purely to get to a point where I can write good songs that people will like and share it with them and form that metal community. But I wanted to mention one other band that I was stoked on going into this record is the band High Spirits from Chicago.
Yeah.
So that guy, Chris, he's the main dude behind the band.
Yeah, Professor Black.
Professor Black. He was a columnist for Metal Edge magazine, I believe, and he has a lot of other projects. He's very prolific. sort of one-man band type of musician, but he tours with the band, a live band for High Spirits. I saw them play in Oakland back in like August, and it was really great. And he's just someone who really inspires me as a songwriter and someone who's doing great things and doing it on his own terms, and that's kind of what I'm about too.
Yeah, he's another one, like very like High Spirits is very focused on that positive energy.
Oh yeah.
You know, have you heard of Dark Forest?
Okay, okay, that's a power metal band, right?
Yeah.
But it's like unique kind of power metal, right?
It's very sort of folk themed.
Yeah.
Not necessarily with folk instruments, but the melodies are very like European folk stuff. But here's their thing: is that they claim that their music is so positive that it has healing quality. They supposedly that the way their guitars are supposedly the way their guitars are tuned, they have their guitars tuned to a specific frequency that's supposed to assist in healing, like physical and spiritual healing.
Well, that's a great selling point.
Is that for the third Grim Deeds record?
You know, I don't know if I can aspire to heal anyone with my songs, but hopefully they'll get stoked at least.
Well,
you know?
People have definitely been stoked on the record. We will talk more about you and your collaborative process with Mr. Forsberg right after this. Right now, we're gonna play some Venomous Maximus for the good people, and then have a little bit more after that. So stay tuned. Grim Deeds is live in studio. We're having fun, and you guys will too. Stick around. People think that saving money is hard, but it's really easy. It's as simple as changing a few spending habits. For tips on how to save the easy way, check out feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org. This message is brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the Ad Council, and 90.5 KSJS. What's going on, everybody? Rebel Reyes here, live with the man himself, Grim Deeds.
What's up?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
All right. Tell me about what it's like to do the Blink-182 neighborhoods method of recording stuff and trying to get like a cohesive sound right out of over a long distance.
Well, it's really not that hard because the way I write songs is pretty much I have the riffs and I have the verse and chorus melodies, and everything's just kind of like a skeleton of a song. I can demo it so it sounds like a song. And in fact, a lot of the Cloven Altar stuff, the demos that I send to Cederick in Sweden, they're basically like punk songs that happen to have metal chord progressions or metal melodies to it. But I could have, you know, if it was me playing it, it would sound like punk rock because I just don't have the chops that he has. So I, you know, basically send him these rough sketches of songs that are semi-complete, and then he adds layers of color and dimensions and dynamics that are, you know, that make all the difference. You know, he can do it all. He's a great multi-instrumentalist, and he also puts in his 2 cents with arrangements. And on this album, on Enter the Night, he also wrote a couple songs, you know. So he, you know, composed all of the instrumentals and then sent it to me, and then we talked about how the vocals ought to sound. And yeah, that's pretty much my process. So as far as just like collaborating with Cedrick, it's been a very easy working relationship, and he gives me feedback and lets me know, you know, what should be improved, and I always just take his advice. He's the kind of high caliber, talented musician that if you're lucky enough to work with someone like him, you're going to take his advice. And like if he says, yeah, you can do better, then I'll do better. And if he says, hey, you need to re-record this because, you know, it's not cutting it. I worked really hard on this particular album too. Like I had a baby about a year ago, and being a new parent and having a full-time job and being married and trying to do this is very challenging. So all the vocals were recorded in my car just whenever I could do it. And sometimes at the end of like a 10-hour workday or in 3 hours of sleep that night, and I did it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the album a lot, and the effort shows, man.
Sure.
Trust me. This record has, it just made me happy. It just straight up made me happy listening to it. And then, you know, even if I didn't know anything about anybody who made it, right, this would still be one of my favorite records of the year.
That's cool.
And yeah, it's a ton of fun. And running out of things to say, so we're gonna take a break.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we'll take a break, and we'll play this next track. This is Lancer. You ever heard of Lancer, dude?
They have the peacock is their symbol, which is like rare for a metal band to have a bird as their symbol. It's like a robotic peacock.
Yeah, but this album they ditched it though, so not a good sign. Kind of like Iron Maiden not putting Eddie on the album. It's like, what are you doing?
Ooh, that could be a red flag. Let's check it out. We'll make the assessment.
All right, this is Lancer with a track called Future Millennia off their latest album, Mastery. Stay tuned for Me and Deeds. We're going to keep the party going for a little while longer. And thank you guys so much for listening. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? Midnight Highway. I'm Rebel Reyes, live here in the studio with Grim Deeds as he continues to munch on some pizza and have a good time.
Yeah, I got hooked up in the studio, man.
we only have a good time here at KSJS. We meant to talk about this earlier. We totally skipped over it. Hammerfall.
Yes.
Right? You were saying they're one of your big influences.
For sure.
I saw them last night at the Social Hall in SF, man. It was awesome. Like they blew the house off the place, man.
I've always been a fan since I first heard them, and Glory to the Brave is their first one, right?
Yes.
So that was the first one I heard. I remember hearing The Dragon Lies Bleeding on one of those old MP3 sites, like from back in the day.
Yeah, man.
Maybe it was on Napster or something. And then my friend showed me some more songs. I was like, man, this is great. And this was kind of as I was getting back into metal after kind of a hiatus where I listened to mostly punk rock and hardcore music. And this kind of like ushered in a whole new era of me like exploring heavy metal and power metal and all these different genres. And Hammerfall has really stuck with me. They're great songwriters and they're a great band. So
yeah, it's wonderful. Like, we've talked about this. Their first two albums are exactly the same.
Sure.
Maybe the second one has like a slicker production, right? But it's the same style of riffs, vocals, everything. And it's more of what you would want from that first one. And then, they did diversify their sound later on, but eventually, like, that came to a fault. Especially, I feel, with that Infection album.
Yeah.
It was like, you got rid of your mascot on the cover, like we were talking about earlier, like getting rid of your mascot in metal, not a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I give them credit for going for something different and trying it out. Didn't really work. But who knows, man? Sometimes albums like that, after the fact, like years later, people go back and fondly remember it.
Yeah, so. People will. Hammerfall apologists, you people, making me sick. No, I'm just kidding. The last two albums though, Revolution and Built to Last, which you are now holding in your hot little hands. Right, they've went back to the drawing board. Basically, they got the producer from those first two records and are working with him again. And like even the artwork, the whole feel of the album is exactly like those classics. And of course, it's like it's not ever going to match up to those just because of the sheer nostalgia we're going to have. Yeah. Right. But it's really good. It brings back those same kind of feelings.
Yeah, and you got to credit them too because they did covers of really cool bands. Like they did the Pretty Maids cover, and they did I think did a Stormwitch cover. And so like I had never heard of those bands before.
They do really good covers.
Yeah, they choose them very well.
Yeah, Rainbow, Stormwitch. The Pretty Maids one is a favorite. I like Pretty Maids a lot.
Back to Back. That's a rad song.
That's amazing.
Even the original sounds awesome. So, yeah, it's cool to live in the age now where you can do a lot of research and find out, whatever eras you might have missed out on. They're all there on YouTube or wherever you want to look for your music. And
it's crazy. Like, I think that era, do you think maybe the availability of that music to a huge audience is what has sort of brought on this new wave traditional heavy metal revival? Do you think that could be a part of it? Yeah,
I do think so. And I mean, there's like a new wave of revival for a lot of different metal genres.
Yeah.
On YouTube just today, I was looking at someone's new channel that was like a new wave of new school, thrash metal or something. I was like, wait a minute, wasn't there already like a thrash revival? Like we're going back to like another one. But then lo and behold, all these albums that came out in like 2017, all these brand new thrash albums. And it's like, to me, it's cool because people who really love heavy metal are pretty obsessive about it, and I can relate to that, and I can relate to having that niche interest in something that's kind of obscure. And then when you tap into it and enjoy it, it's like a special community. That's what I like about the heavy metal scene is the community is very, very tight, and everybody's that I've come into contact with are like great friends.
Yeah, the thing about the metal community is like, for as like impenetrable as it can sometimes seem, like maybe when you're trying to find the music to get into, once you're in, you are in. And I feel like it is one of the most inclusive communities. Whenever the sort of I don't know how to put this, maybe like the PC police or people who try to say that like metal is exclusionary to certain people, it doesn't ever stick,
right?
Because it's just not true.
Yeah,
like nobody ever feels uncomfortable in a metal crowd.
Oh yeah,
like maybe you got hit too hard in the pit, grow up. But like,
and even like the dudes who listen to the most extreme bands, a lot of times are very like soft-spoken, thoughtful people, and men and women alike. You just can't judge a book by its cover, basically.
Yeah, especially with when it comes to metal.
Yeah,
right. That's in terms of like the people who listen to it and the people who play it. Right, it's a pretty wide range of people.
That's true, and in particular, the stuff that you and I like the traditional metal and the power metal, is very inoffensive to people in general, because it's just like dragons and knights.
Well,
and
it's inoffensive. It's offensive to like the true cult types who think all of it stinks.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they hate all of it.
There's some infighting.
No matter what you say, right? Like no matter how good the riffs are, or whatever, they'll find something to complain about.
Yeah, it's like, no, too cheesy.
That's the only thing that in metal is that stinks is like the elitism that can sometimes be there.
Right.
But it's not like dangerous.
People who are elitist generally aren't songwriters, I find. I'm like, if you could give me a demo, show me what you can do. Like, I'd like to hear it, because songwriting's some real serious stuff, man, and you have to really dig in to find a sound that is yours and a sound that is worth hearing, I guess, and that's what I aspire to do, is try to like create good songs. And when people are super sharply critical of things, it's like, yeah, I can understand you have your opinions or whatever, but I'm willing to take it more seriously if you have some creative output as well.
Yeah, you put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, man.
Basically. All right. We're going to keep it going here. This is, stick around. Grim Deeds will be with us in the studio, and we'll eventually get to a track from Cloven Altar. We can play that track and talk about my favorite track.
Okay.
Because I want to dig into it with you. But for now, this is Astral Doors. You familiar with Astral Doors?
No.
Okay, so Niels Patrick Johansson is the singer of Astral Doors. He was in Civil War for a bit, like that splinter group from Sabaton. And then he unceremoniously left Civil War and went right back to Astral Doors.
Okay. I know Sabaton, so you've got me.
So he's got a great voice, and this album is a little more pared back in a way. So their stuff was like super emotionally like overwrought symphonic metal, and
epic
now,
to the point of maybe being too epic.
Yeah, like where it's like a bit much to take in one sitting.
Sure.
So with this track or with this album, they've gone back to a more simplified style. So
let's check it out.
Yeah, let's check this out. This is a track called Good versus Bad off of their new album Black Eyed Children. Stick around with me, Rebel Reyes, and Grim Deeds live in studio. The adventure will continue. What's up, everybody? Rebel Reyes here. You just heard some Night Demon with a track called On Your Own, the new album Darkness Remains. I really enjoyed the hell out of it, so I recommend it to the good people. All right, in the studio with us is Grim Deeds.
Yeah.
What's up, Grim Deeds?
I'm here. I'm happy to be here, and Night Demon rocks, and I know those dudes. And great music, great guys, and you should look out because former guitarist Brent is also working on a new project too.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I know that guy is a good dude because he has an Ace Frehley pin on his guitar strap.
He's the real deal.
So
I talked to him about playing guitar, and he's like, I was asking him about writing solos because that's something I'm kind of iffy on.
Yeah.
Like I can do it, but it doesn't sound that great. It sounds more like a punk rock solo. He's like, you just got to listen to other people's solos, man. Listen to Kiss solos. Play some Ace Frehley and basically get your chops up by learning solos that you enjoy, which is good advice.
Yeah, my guitar teacher from back in the day when I was in community college, I took a guitar class, and he said that Ace Frehley can express a complete thought in 30 seconds what it takes Jimmy Page like 3 minutes to do.
Yeah.
Like he can tell a story with his solos.
That's great.
And that is good advice.
I mean, that's good rock and roll to me, is like being concise, making it catchy, and getting your point across and communicating it clearly. Like you don't have to deliver some long-winded explanation with your melodies. Just make it rad. Exactly.
That's all we look for is rad stuff. Speaking of rad stuff, we're going to play a track off of your album.
Awesome.
So this is from Cloven Altar's latest, right? Enter the Night. This is my favorite track on the album. So we're going to play this, and we'll talk about it. I definitely want to know as much as I can about this, because I know your influences in terms of the subject matter of your tracks is far and wide. Like we've talked about The Witcher in the past. I remember.
For sure.
Yeah, dude, The Witcher is have you played any of the games at all, or did you read the books?
My wife and I played The Witcher 3 before she got pregnant, and we played it all the time, and it was like the most fun I've ever had, like hanging out with my wife. I was playing that game. It was so awesome. The graphics were great. I had this Xbox One just for a limited time. We sold it to get a baby stroller, by the way. Before that, I had checked out the original Polish television series.
Yeah, the Weizmann. You told me about that.
Weizmann is awesome. Check it out on YouTube. It's very low budget, but it's like great storytelling and good acting, and that's what really hooked me was Weizmann, which is the Polish real deal like story of The Witcher.
Yeah, that's I've played The Witcher 1 and 2. I actually just picked up 3 recently, so I'm going to dive in that and never be seen outdoors again for a while.
Oh, you can easily get sucked into that world, and it's pretty lush and pretty fun.
Yeah, because I remember telling you that the games were really good and that you should check it out. So, and Witcher 3 is probably a smart entry point
for sure
into the series.
For sure.
So let's talk about this track. This is In Worlds Unknown. I'm going to play it right now, and then me and Deeds will go over it, and then that'll close out our time with Mr. Deeds.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much again for stopping by.
Oh, dude, my pleasure. This has been a full circle hangout, you and I. And,
I know, we've been trying to hang out for a while.
In your new role as DJ, I'm real proud of you, man.
Thank you. You all should be proud of him because he's a good guy, and he's in charge of the future of your generation. So don't upset him. Because if he doesn't pollute their brains with his teaching, he'll do it through his music.
Right.
Because he'll get them somehow. All right, we're going to check out In Worlds Unknown from Cloven Alter's Enter the Night album. Talk about it for a bit, and stay tuned. The goods don't stop coming on the Midnight Highway.
Far from all roads well traveled,
What up, guys? Rebel Reyes here in the studio with Grim Deeds.
How's it going?
Dude. Okay, we just listened to In Worlds Unknown.
Yeah.
What's that song about?
Well, I'll talk about the lyrics first.
Yes.
Because that one, a lot of the Cloven Altar lyrics, I try to think of kind of cosmic topics, maybe even like semi-spiritual topics, but I keep it kind of vague as what the story is really about.
Sure.
And in this case, I was thinking of someone who has kind of transcended into some other consciousness or some other sort of, realm, I guess. And in my head, I was thinking about somebody like basically traveling through space-time into some other dimension or some other reality and venturing there with no idea of what to expect, but having the, courage to kind of just venture into the unknown. So Worlds Unknown can also represent like real life and nothing to do with science fiction, but just like taking risks and going for it, and like knowing that if you have a passion and like the potential to do something, to just do it. Because I have so many friends who are into music and friends who are into like various things, and they want to do stuff, but like they just don't do it for some reason. You know what I mean? Like life gets in the way.
When you get older, you meet people who always say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And then when they don't, you're like, damn.
And that's the only regret you could really have in life, is not going for it, So In Worlds Unknown is kind of like a little pep talk song, like go for it. But then it adds sort of like a little science sci-fi twist to it. And then like musically, I just wanted to sound like Hammerfall. That riff is pretty close to the one I wrote, the one that said,
well, mission accomplished.
Yeah, it's like, this sounds like a cool Hammerfall type riff. And I love the trim picking and power metal and just the traditional, heavy metal, little speed metal influence there. And I wanted to have those soaring melodies and vocals, so I think I accomplished it. But as I was saying, the range is kind of like right at my limit.
Yeah, you're saying your vocal limit is like right there.
If we played it live, we might have to change the key or something, because boy, I was really struggling, but I pulled it off.
We're coming up on our time. I really do want to thank you again for coming through. We were trying to plan this for a bit, and I'm glad we finally made it happen.
Well, it was a treat for me, man. The hour went by real fast, and it was a great time. So thank you very much for having me on the show.
How many people can say that this happened on their birthday, right?
Yeah, this is a good present for me, for sure.
Yeah, dude, the album is good. Where can people get it if they want to get it?
They can just go to the Stormspell Records homepage. Their website will have information about it, and then that links to their Bandcamp page, and there's a CD Baby site that is also linked to Stormspell, and it'll be coming out on CD and then hopefully vinyl. So
nice. Yeah, the vinyl on your first record is excellent.
Yeah,
and it's a nice quality pressing that people should look out for.
Yeah, that's by the German label Underground Power.
Underground Power
is the label that put out the vinyl for the first album, Demon of the Night. So
awesome. So what is next for you? What is next for either Cloven Altar, Grim Deeds? What's coming up in the pipeline for you?
All right. Well, if anyone knows about Grim Deeds, the project, that's my punk rock thing. And Cederick is actually helping me to record a best of Grim Deeds album right now. So it's all his instrumentation, and he's done some new arrangements and some solos and stuff. So it'll be the best studio sound that I've had, because most of the Grim Deeds stuff is stuff I record at home. And I'm also going to be eventually writing new songs for Cloven Altar. And this is my favorite project. It's the one I'm the most proud of, I think, in terms of the quality, and it's heavy metal. So, it's obviously the best. I'll just be chugging along, man. I'm always working on new tunes. I've got another project now with a friend of mine in San Mateo. It's called Letters Never Sent. It's a punk rock project that we just started. So I'll always have my my hands in some kind of songwriting and recording. It's my thing.
Awesome. Well, the proof is right there, folks. You guys heard the track. This guy can write a tune. And there's definitely more coming your way from Grim Deeds. If you guys were listening, I thank you guys so much. Grim.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Well, thanks to you, Rebel Reyes, and the Midnight Highway.
Oh, yeah. Anytime, dude. Give us a parting message for your fans, people who have called in and asked for your songs. Anything you want to say to them? Yeah,
thank you for caring, and thank you for being a fan of metal. And, reach out, because nothing pleases me more than hearing from people and building that community.
Awesome. You guys are tuned in to 90.5 FM KSJS San Jose.